Welcome to Nice and Blunt. I'm Adam Arancho, and it's Monday. Time to make some win-loss picks for Week 15. But before we do that, we always look back and tell you where I was right, where I was wrong in the previous week. So these are my picks from Week 14. My final record is 8-5, and the games I got wrong were the Bengals. They did not win. Neither did the Commanders or the Jets or the Bucks. And then I also took the Chiefs. They also lost. So I go 8-5, but to be honest, I thought the poll results were very interesting. These are y'all's picks. The audience ended up going 7-6 in Week 14. So let me go game by game and tell you where we disagreed. We honestly had a lot of disagreements this week, and it ended up shaking out pretty evenly. I'm only one game ahead as of Monday. I haven't seen what happens tonight. I am taking the Chargers to win. Y'all, however, have taken Philadelphia at 62%. So we might both end up 8-6 when the week is over. But if I am correct, y'all are wrong. I will end up picking up 2 games, and I was 4 games back heading into the week. So I'm really hopeful that my Chargers do not let me down, but let's show you where we disagreed. Y'all took Dallas at 59%. I took Detroit. I was correct. I pick up a game. However, y'all took the Colts at 52%. That was a true coin flip. Almost a tie. However, y'all were mostly incorrect on the week. These screenshots were taken before kickoff, and y'all were incorrect on Indy. Y'all were also wrong on Cleveland. You did not see this one coming. 85% took an L. I, however, took the Titans. I was wrong, though. I took the Bengals, and if not for the interceptions by Joe Burrow, which just felt so out of character, the way this game ended felt so different than how most of it had gone. The Bills power their way back. They do not cover. Thankfully, I took the Bengals to cover, but they do take the L. I was wrong on that game. Y'all were wrong on Baltimore at 71%. You faded Pittsburgh too much. I was correct on Pittsburgh, but we both were correct on Seattle. That one was indeed a blowout. However, I took the Jets. I was feeling bold, and despite the weather concerns, Tua did show up. He did get the win. 70% did side with Miami, and you were correct on that game. But we both agreed on Washington, at least 76% of y'all. A 3-1 ratio was incorrect. The Commanders didn't show up at all. That game was a massive blowout. Pretty shocking, considering our distrust of JJ McCarthy. But the Vikings defense was elite. And then in Tampa, this one was the biggest upset. Nobody really predicted the Saints. There's usually a small margin of trolls, but 10% was correct. The majority, 9-1, was wrong. Tampa did not get the win. So that one was a shocker. But Green Bay, thankfully I switched my pick late in the week. On Saturday, after I saw Rome Odunze was out and Jaden Reed was in, I did pivot to the Packers. They did win, so 54% to 46. Another coin flip, almost a tie, but y'all were correct, and so was I. We were right on the Packers, but we were also right on LA at an 88% margin. That one felt obvious. We also took Denver at a massive clip, 90-10, and we were in agreement. We were correct on the Broncos. However, a big disagreement. I was on the losing side. I sided with the minority, 45-55, and a coin flip game ended up being a 10-point win by Houston. Pretty impressive by the Texans. So they've won 5 in a row. The Chiefs are all but dead. They just need one more loss, and I'm excited for that Chargers game next week. I hope my team puts the nail in the coffin. But on the week, y'all go 7-6, I go 8-5, and tonight we will decide if I'm 2 games up this week or dead even. I am rooting for the Chargers. Y'all are taking the Eagles. So on the season, I am still trailing. The overall record is 133-70-4 to 130-76-1. So technically, if 2 of those ties combine for 1 win and 1 loss, then I'm technically 4 games back. But 3 back in the correct column, and I am coming back. I was down 7 at 2 different times this year, but the closest I've been is just 1 game back, and I'm slowly inching my way back. I hope I'm right on the Chargers tonight. That would be only a 2-game difference, and I'm really close. So, going to be a photo finish. When it's all said and done, I may come out with the win. But last year, y'all had a better record, and at the moment, y'all still do. So I am clinging to life, but 4 weeks left, anyone's ball game. Against the spread, I had another winning week, which makes 3 in a row. I'm actually 13-5 over the last 3 weeks, but in week 14, we go 4-2, which puts me above 500 on the season for the first time this year. Actually, the first time since week 2. I did have a 5-1 record in week 2. So it's been a while. It's been 3 months since we've been behind the 8 ball. But the last 3 weeks, 13-5, and on the season, 43-41. I was wrong about the Bears, plus 6.5. I needed that extra point. No dice. And then the Commanders weren't even close, but Vegas had this as a pick'em. That was a shocker. The Vikings really torched them. So wrong on those two. I was right about the Steelers. They won outright. The Texans also won outright. I took the Bengals plus 5.5, and they almost won outright, but ended up covering. That one was by the skin of my teeth. That one was very close. And then I also took the Jags plus 1.5, and they won by blowout. So a good week, 4-2. I'm happy about it, and we have a little bit of breathing room. We can afford a losing week and still maintain a 500 pace. But obviously, I want more. We have 4 weeks left. Let's make the most of it. I am hopeful I pick up another 4 games at least over the next 4 weeks. So that's it for the recap. And now it's time for my picks. Let's look ahead to the schedule in week 15. We do not have a single bye, so all 16 games are on the slate this week. And oh boy, on Thursday night, this is going to be a very compelling game. If you recall, if you've watched the channel since the summer, I thought the Falcons were going to sweep the Bucks yet again this year. They did not. They lost earlier in the season, and that was with Michael Penix. But last year, they swept the Buccaneers with Kirk Cousins, and if Drake May comes back, I am willing to call upset. I do not trust the Buccaneers right now. Buka is not the same player. I don't think he's healthy. Baker's not making the most of his opportunity, and last week they just lost to the New Orleans Saints. So the Saints looked dead in the water. No one really saw that coming, and I think the Buccaneers are vulnerable. Ultimately, I do not trust the Falcons to even come close to the division. So really the Buccaneers season is going to come down to them versus Carolina. They have to win the division. I believe they still can, but ultimately I think they can do that even with a loss this weekend. And when it comes to my pick on this game, as long as Drake London is active, I'm going to believe that he continues to dominate the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. They kind of held him in check back in week 1. It was not as dominant as it normally is, but historically, Drake London absolutely owns this matchup. So if Kirk Cousins can continue his dominance, I'm willing to call upset. The Bucs just don't look like they have lived up to their full potential. So a short week. I'm not expecting Mike Evans or Jalen McMillan to come to the rescue. If they do, I'd be very surprised, but I just don't trust their offense right now. I also don't trust their defense. They've been giving up massive yards to every position. The Falcons are a weird team, but in division, I think they're hungry. Give me a dub for the Atlanta Falcons. I will take Kirk Cousins to get his 3rd straight win against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. I do not trust their defense. I will take the Falcons. So, fun game. I'm willing to roll the dice. But in Chicago on Sunday morning, we have the Bears hosting Cleveland, and the Bears were not that far from at least going into overtime against the Packers. The Browns lost to the Titans, and there is no chance I believe the Bears are going to squander this opportunity. So, not an even matchup at all. The Bears are much better. They were the 1 seed last week, and although they're the 7 seed at the moment, the Browns are sniffing the top 5 picks. So definitely give me Chicago. I'm going to trust the quarterback to be much better. If Caleb loses to Shador, that would be a shocker. So I'm also trusting the coach. There is no way I'm taking the Browns. Give me Cleveland to lose all day. The Bears will get the dub. So Bears, I think, are going to stave off the Lions for that final playoff spot. I believe in Chicago. Give me a W for the Bears. A pretty obvious pick based on their opponent. In Cincy, the Bengals are hosting Baltimore, and this game is must win for both franchises. If the Ravens lose, there are no guarantees at all for them to win the division. As long as they win, then the Bengals really have no chance to catch them. I'd be pretty shocked, but the remaining schedule is still pretty brutal for both teams. But the Bengals losing to Buffalo really gives them no margin for error. It's pretty unlikely they win the division at 8-9. The Steelers would also have to collapse. So given Mike Tomlin does not have a losing record, it'd be hard for me to envision the Bengals catching them, but it's still possible. And ultimately, it comes down to this game. If the Bengals lose, their season is over. But Joe Burrow was this close to beating Josh Allen. If not for those random defensive plays by the Bills, then I think they would have won last week. So a lot of things had to go against them. Given how they beat the Ravens the first time, that game was also on the road. I believe Cincy can do it again. So maybe Isaiah Likely does finally score a touchdown. It's 2 weeks in a row where he's this close to scoring a touchdown, and maybe that's the margin of error in this matchup. But I'm going to take the Bengals. I do not believe their season is over. And just like last time we took the Bengals, we do have a Bengal in the shot. My cat is in frame, and she's moving back there. You can see her ears flapping around. She's got her back turned, but she's the good luck charm. And we are sticking with Cincinnati in this game. I'm taking the Bengals. I'm going to trust that Joe Burrow's season is not quite over. I don't like what I'm seeing at all from Lamar Jackson. I don't trust the Ravens as much as I used to. So I'll take Cincinnati. I think it might come down to the Steelers and the Bengals in this division. I am not convinced the winner will have a winning record. So give me Cincy. They have to win out. I think they'll at least win in week 15. And then in Kansas City, the Chiefs are in the exact same situation. They have to win out. And probably the only team that they can maybe steal a playoff spot from is their opponent this week. So do or die, very big implications here. And there is weather factoring into this game. In Kansas City, it'll be 28 degrees. It'll be sunny, but the wind is not that big of a deal. The Chargers are not a cold weather team, so that could really help the Chiefs, but ultimately, I hate what I'm seeing from them. They look cooked. The Chiefs are not playing up to their potential. I think Kelsey is washed, Rashee Rice starting to drop passes, and they really have no run game. I don't trust Kareem Hunt to step up. So this time, Omarion Hampton is not going to have those rookie mistakes that keeps the Chiefs in it. I think this game is going to go very similarly to week 1. I do not believe the Chiefs are legit, and with this 8th loss, that's the nail in the coffin. Their season is over. So the last dwindle of hope that the Chiefs fan base has is if they beat the Chargers and win out. That's not going to happen. The Chargers win, baby. Bolt up. We end the Chiefs season. The Chargers are better than Kansas City. Chargers are going to win, and it's not going to be close. Give me the Chargers in a landslide. I don't think it's going to close game. I really don't. I think the Chiefs need to be put out of their misery, and they will be. Kansas City takes a big fat L, and my Chargers stamp their way into the playoffs. If they win this game, I think it's a lock. They make the playoffs. So give me the Chargers. I'm a believer. They might not win the division. They might not make noise in the playoffs, but they will at least beat the Chiefs for the second time this year. A 2-0 sweep of the Chiefs in division. In New England, very interesting game. The Patriots hosting the Bills, and the Pats are also coming off of a bye. So a lot of prep time. They've been winning so dominantly. The Patriots only have 2 losses this year. It's pretty crazy. So I feel like they're due for an L. They beat the Bills the first time around. That game was on the road. It was a very close win, though, within a field goal. And I don't feel convinced that the Patriots are significantly better than the Bills. But I do believe they are marginally better. Odds are they win this game. However, once I checked the forecast, I decided I believe the Bills are going to win. The Bills have the advantage in bad weather. This game is going to be snowing in New England, in Foxborough. The forecast a week ahead of time is 30 degrees and snowy, a 30% chance of snow, and then the wind is 12 miles per hour. So if it's going to be sloppy, if it's going to be snowy, I'm going to trust the Bills. They have the advantage in that scenario. Just look at what happened to Burrow last week. Weird shit happens. The Bills, I think, will split the series. If you told me entering the year, the Patriots would be the 1 seed, finish 15-2, and sweep the Bills, I would be shocked. I don't think all 3 of those things are going to happen. So give me the Bills to win a very close game. I could easily see it go to the Patriots, but a coin flip, a true pick'em, I'll take the road team. I'm not expecting many road teams to win this week, and the Bills are one of them. So I'll take Josh Allen. I still don't quite believe that the Patriots are like leaps and bounds better than Buffalo. They're close, and I wouldn't be surprised if the Patriots win the 3rd game. if they meet in the playoffs, but this week I'm taking the Bills. I believe in Buffalo, not to shit the bed, but they haven't been the same team on the road. If the weather was not snowing, I don't think I would take them. I literally flipped my decision 3 times. At first, I started with the Buffalo Bills. Then I was like, nah, give me the Patriots. Then I looked at the weather and I was like, okay, fine. I'll go with the Buffalo Bills. It's a true pick 'em. I really have no lean either way, but the weather I think is the advantage. So give me Buffalo in a reluctant decision. I could easily see the Patriots win this game, but I'll take the Bills. And then in New York, the Giants are hosting Washington, and I just don't see it. The Commanders look dead in the water. I don't really see the point, in hindsight, of starting Jaden Daniels. He looked terrible, and it looks like his elbow got re-injured in the third quarter on that interception. He was trying to tackle someone, and it didn't go well. He hit the ground kind of hard. So maybe Jaden Daniels is out for the year. I'm expecting Mariota here, and off the bye, I think Jackson Dart will play pretty well. The Commanders' defense is ass. They gave up a lot of points to McCarthy, and if J.J. McCarthy's going to look good against them, what are they going to do against Jackson Dart? So I wish the Giants had Scatterboo. That'd be an automatic W. But even with Devin Singletary and Tyrone Tracy, it looks like he's fine. I think they can get the win. I just don't trust the Commanders at the moment. So give me the Giants. This series has been close in recent history. The Commanders actually have 3 straight wins, but before that they had 3 straight L's, and I think it's going to flip in the Giants' favor. So give me the Giants, a close one, but I'll take the better quarterback, Jackson Dart, over Mariota. And then in Philadelphia, I'm going to call upset. I know it's crazy to bet on the Raiders is insane. It's really not the decision I feel comfortable with, but ultimately I do not believe in the Eagles. I expect the Eagles to have a generational collapse yet again. And in LA tonight, I believe it's going to start. I think it's going to continue. I think they're going to completely dismiss their opponent. I do not believe Jalen Hurts is quite healthy at the moment. He's not running the ball as much as he used to. And then Saquon kind of looks a bit washed this year. And then A.J. Brown is a nightmare waiting to happen. There's going to be some controversy, and I just don't trust the Eagles right now. I don't know if Jalen Carter will come back, and I am expecting Kenny Pickett to get the start. So if you're telling me it's not Geno Smith, if you're telling me Pickett has a revenge game, anything can happen. And ultimately, I think Brock Bowers and Ashton Genty will play up to competition. The Eagles will play down to competition. So they're going to have the lead early. They're going to take their foot off the gas, and then they will not wake up as the score gets closer and closer. I ultimately will take the Raiders on a last-second field goal to get the win. A at-the-buzzer victory by the Raiders, a true trap game. I really envision this is a textbook trap game, and I will take the Raiders. There's always an upset. Like last week, you would have been out of your mind to take the Saints. But it happened. It's capable of happening. We're at the end of the year, and a team like Las Vegas is hungry. A team like the Eagles doesn't respect them. And since the summer, Las Vegas has circled this game. It's against the reigning Super Bowl champions. They are hungry for a win. They're due. And I ultimately think they will get one more against a good team before the season's over. So this is where I'm picking it. The Raiders call upset and a major collapse by the Eagles. I do not think the Eagles will win their division. I think they're going to lose a lot of games down the stretch, and this one confirms they're just not as good as last year. So Eagles, massive L. Call me crazy. I'm going with Kenny Pickett. In Jacksonville, the Jaguars are hosting the Jets, and last week I had some confidence in the Jets, and that was a stupid call. Weather is not really a factor. 71 degrees and sunny, and the road team is just nowhere near as good as the playoff caliber Jacksonville Jaguars. So Jags going to continue to cruise. Jacoby Myers playing awesome. Brenton Strange contributing. And now Brian Thomas Jr. is starting to look fully healthy. So I would fear the Jags. They look very legit. I've taken a while to come around on them, but now I'm a believer. They're clearly a playoff team. I think they will win their division. At the very least, they'll be a tough wildcard team to beat, and the Jets are not even close. So this one's pretty easy, pretty automatic. Give me the Jaguars. Not going to call upset in this one. In Houston, I am definitely taking the Texans. They're on a 5-game win streak. The Cardinals have no defense at all, and we might have Marvin Harrison Jr. out yet again. I'm not expecting Trey Benson to come back, and the Texans have a good enough defense. There's no way Michael Wilson goes off yet again. If anything, even Trey McBride is going to have a hard time. So I think this one's automatic. I see a big blowout. I also think that CJ Stroud is going to play pretty dominant football. I don't think the Cardinals defense will have an ounce of fight in them here. I am taking Houston overwhelmingly. I think they can win by 3+ touchdowns. I don't see any chance for Arizona in this matchup. So automatic win for Houston. And then in Denver, a really good game. This one is going to be one of the more compelling matchups of the afternoon. The Broncos are hosting the Green Bay Packers. And this is finally a matchup where I think the Denver Broncos are going to be exposed. I am not telling you they're a bad team. They deserve the record they have. But they're barely winning. And the Packers are red hot. I think Jordan Love is going to play very well in this game. I do not trust Bo Nix against the Packers defense. I don't think the Broncos are going to score many points. And I also think RJ Harvey will be limited a little bit. So if Harvey can't get it going, I don't think Bo Nix will make the magic happen. We've seen Bo Nix be lights out in the fourth quarter, and that's the only way it'll happen. I expect the Packers to have a lead for the majority of this game, and as long as they don't let it slip through their fingers, I trust the Packers to hold on and win. A very close game. I think both teams are very legit, and I think this is essentially a playoff game. I wouldn't be that surprised if this was a Super Bowl preview. It's unlikely to happen. I don't think the Broncos will go that far, but I think the Packers are capable. And then the Broncos are also capable. I'm not going to dismiss them entirely. I wouldn't bet on them to make it that far, but it is possible. And it would be fun to see it again. But I doubt it. I think this is the only time we get this matchup this year. And I am going to take the road team. I'm liking what the Packers are putting down. And then the Broncos, I think, are still just kind of hanging on by a thread in terms of this elite win streak that they're on. The Broncos are due for a loss. I'm going to trust Jordan Love and Matt LaFleur. I think they have a more complete offense. Now that all those receivers are healthy, I wish they had Tucker Kraft, but even without him, I think they're better. Give me the Packers on the road at Denver. Very close game, but I trust the Packers a little bit more. In LA, the Rams are hosting Detroit, and the Lions season is on the ropes here. They need to win out. Even if they do, there's a chance they still don't make the playoff picture. So a very important game. However, Detroit, even though they don't lose 2 in a row, it's been a while since they've won 2 in a row. Dan Campbell is not following up those wins with a second one. So I trust the Rams a lot, especially at home. I think they can get the job done. The Lions have extra rest in this game, but Amon-Ra St. Brown I don't think is 100%. He'll play through pain, but still not 100%. They don't have Laporta. Their defense is ghastly. They can't stop anyone. And it's not like the Rams are a team that you want to dismiss. So the Rams, I believe, are better. They've lost to the Lions plenty of times, but oftentimes those games are in Detroit. And without the home field advantage, I'm willing to take the LA Rams. The upgrade this year from Cooper Kupp to Devontae Adams is just so significant, and it really makes you trust that every week they're going to show up. I don't think the Lions have a defense that can stop anyone of the Rams. Probably a 40-35 type of game, and I will take the Rams. I believe in LA more than I believe in Detroit. So give me the Rams. I don't think the Lions will make the playoffs this year, and this L is probably going to seal it. This one's critical, and if it doesn't go their way, it's a really tough uphill battle. So a close game. I can see either team winning, but ultimately I'm going to trust the home team and Sean McVay. I do not believe in the Lions defense. So that's the problem. The Lions just can't stop them, and the Rams just rack up way too many points. The LA Rams get the dub over Detroit. In New Orleans, the Saints just pulled upset on Tampa. However, I'd be shocked if they do it again. The Panthers are coming off a bye, and they can smell victory. They are legit. They have a shot at the division. But if you rewind to August, I actually told you the Panthers would finish as a 500 team. I didn't think they'd make the playoffs. I actually thought the Falcons would win this division at 10-7, but I did pick the Panthers to go 9-8 back in the summer. And it looks like now 9-8 might get the job done in the NFC South. And against a team like New Orleans, while it's possible they lose, I'm not going to pick it. They already lost to them the first time. I think they're hungry for the second one, and it would be pretty shocking if they got swept by the Saints. So even though this game is on the road, I'm going to take Carolina. Saints have proven they can get it done, but I don't think they're going to be slept on in this game, and the Panthers with extra prep are hungry. they get the job done. I'm going to take the Cat team over New Orleans Saints. We still have the Cat in frame. She's still there. I would be remiss to bet against that good luck charm. Often at this time, she would have left the video behind me. So let's take Carolina. Let's take the Panthers. I don't think the Saints are legit. So give me the road team. I haven't taken many road teams this week. And then in San Francisco, the Niners are hosting Tennessee. There is a chance that the Titans play lights out. This is like the closest thing the Titans can get to a primetime game. It's not even the main game of the afternoon, but in the afternoon window, I think there's a world where they step up. But the Niners are coming off a bye. I've dismissed their defense in the past, and I trust that Robert Saleh will coach them up. I don't think the Titans are winning 2 in a row. So while I did pick them last week, that was against the Browns, and the Niners are so much better than Cleveland. The Niners are going to win. The Niners are not going to miss the playoffs because they lost to the Titans. This is a must win. And they will. It's a clear, just handle your business. Everything will be fine. You're clearly better. You will win. Give me the Niners. A no-brainer. Give me San Fran at home. But in Seattle, boy, it's sad to think of what could have been with the Indianapolis Colts. But ultimately, Daniel Jones is injury prone and his leg injuries just are too much to overcome. It's a sad story, really, because now they really have no shot. You can't tell me that their quarterback situation is good enough to have any chance down the stretch. Even their backup, Riley Leonard, is not going to play. Anthony Richardson is still on IR, so he's not coming back. They're going to pull up Brett Rippon off the practice squad, so they have no shot. Even if Jonathan Taylor goes nuclear, I would trust that Sam Darnold, JSN, and the run game of the Seahawks gets the job done. I'm going to easily take Seattle. Maybe the Colts have some fight left in them, but I don't believe it'll be enough. Give me the Seahawks at home to get the win. A pretty landslide victory, more likely than not. In Dallas, the Sunday night game is the Cowboys hosting the Vikings, and some interesting history between these two teams. They don't play too often, even though they're in the same conference, and the Cowboys actually have kind of had their number in recent history. So Dallas, with some extra rest, also at home, I think has an advantage in that regard. But there is a world where CeeDee Lamb does not play, and then George Pickens looked like a shell of himself last week against Detroit. So maybe the passing game is not going to be as effective. The Vikings defense is looking awesome right now, but I still think the Cowboys are much better than the Commanders, and I don't believe in JJ McCarthy. So after the loss to the Lions with even less room for error, I don't think they can afford to lose a single game remaining, and this is clearly a game they are capable of winning. I don't believe in JJ McCarthy at the end of the day. So on the road is much different than at home. Primetime matchup under the bright lights. I will take Dak Prescott and the Cowboys. The Vikings are playing well, but I do not believe in them. And I think the Commanders were just that bad. I don't believe the Vikings are actually that good. But there's a world where Dak shits the bed here, and too many turnovers cost them the win. But I think Pickens will wake up. I think he's going to play well. Give me Dallas. I think their defense will look better than it did last week. Against McCarthy, they should get some turnovers and flip the script in their favor. Give me Dallas with the home win. Their season is on the line. On Monday night, if Aaron Rodgers can play as well as he did last week, then this game will be more entertaining than I'm giving it credit for. But ultimately, I think weather will decide it. Last week, the temperature went above 40 degrees, so it didn't impact Tua enough. However, on Monday night, it will be snowing in Pittsburgh. 23 degrees is the current forecast. No wind, but some snow, I think, will be enough to fade Tua. His record sub 40 degrees is 0-7, if I'm not mistaken. And then last week, I thought it would be less than 40, but by kickoff, it was about 44 degrees in New Jersey. So let's trust those trends. And while it's possible this game is a true coin flip, I could see the Dolphins winning. They've played well lately. I'm going to trust Mike Tomlin at home. It's a close one here, but I'll take the Steelers. A revenge game for Jonnu Smith and Jalen Ramsey. I don't know if Minkah Fitzpatrick will move the needle enough in his revenge game. So let's bet on Jonnu Smith here. Let's take the Steelers. I can still envision an absolute collapse and they lose the division, don't win a single game after this, but I think they will beat the Dolphins. So give me the Steelers. I'm going to take Aaron Rodgers, who looked good last week. It might be the case that the Steelers still win the division. And if they do, they have to win this game. So let's give it to them. Let's keep it interesting. Let's go Pittsburgh over the Dolphins. So those are my picks this week. Not many road teams in my predictions. I'm taking a lot of home favorites and a few dogs, but mostly home teams, in my opinion. On Thursday night, though, I'm taking the road team. Give me Kirk Cousins to continue his dominance over Tampa Bay. As long as Drake London suits up, I will take the Falcons over the Buccaneers. In Chicago, no chance. I'm taking the Browns. Give me the Bears all day long. And then in Cincinnati, I will take the Bengals. I think with their season on the line, they continue to win. They beat the Ravens in Baltimore. They'll beat them again at home. In Kansas City, the season will be over when this game is done. The Chargers put the nail in the coffin. An 8th loss for the Chiefs seals their fate. They are missing the playoffs. No doubt about it. The Chargers win on Sunday. In New England, probably their final legit test. One of the only teams I think on their remaining schedule that can beat them. The Bills are not getting swept. The Bills in the snow get the dub at Foxborough. They even the series against New England. In New York, the snow also gives the home team an advantage. The Commanders are dead in the water, and their defense will quit. Jackson Dart off the bye gets the W in division. In Philadelphia, the Eagles don't take their opponent seriously, and Kenny Pickett calls upset. I mean, Bowers and Genty to shock the Philadelphia Eagles. Trap game written all over it. In Jacksonville, the Jaguars take care of business. The Jets are not going to put one over on Trevor Lawrence. In Houston, the Texans manhandle the Cardinals. No effing chance the Cardinals even compete. In Denver, a very close game, but ultimately I'm trusting the Green Bay Packers. I think their defense is good enough to limit Bo Nix in the fourth quarter. There's no comeback this week. The Packers get the W. In LA, the Rams squander the Lions' hopes. The Lions don't lose 2 in a row, but they do not win 2 in a row this week. Give me the Rams over the Lions. In New Orleans, the Saints can't find more magic. They do not sweep Carolina. The Panthers even the series. In San Francisco, Cam Ward doesn't win 2 in a row. The Niners take care of business. The Seahawks have a big advantage. The Colts don't really have a quarterback. The Seahawks cruise to a W. In Dallas, J.J. McCarthy doesn't get his shit together. An interesting battle, but the Cowboys take care of business as well. They continue their dominance. And then lastly, the Steelers, with a revenge game for Jonnu Smith and Jalen Ramsey, get the W. Rodgers shows up in primetime. So those are my picks. I'm taking 10 home teams this week. Very few road upsets, in my opinion. But a few upsets. That Raiders pick is pretty bold, but F it. We are fading the Eagles. But lastly, I give you 6 picks against the spread, and we are on a minor heater at the moment. Last 3 weeks, my overall record is 13-5. So that's a pretty solid win percentage. Let's see if we can keep it up. I am pretty hopeful we can do well this week. So I am taking the Chargers to win straight up. They're 4.5-point underdogs, and especially if this number stays above 4, I think you have to take the points. The Chiefs are not that good. Perhaps if the number was 2.5, I might stay away from this game, but ultimately I believe in my Chargers. They will get the win, and the Chiefs' season is over. Give me the Chargers not just to cover, but to win outright. Plus 4.5, I'll take that all day long. But when it comes to this Falcons bet, I doubt you want to join me on this one, but ultimately I'm going to trust that last year's record will repeat. I'm going to take Kirk Cousins to beat Baker yet again. Give me the Falcons, not just to cover, but to win straight up. I love that you're getting 5.5. I think this line should be more of a field goal. But I also really understand why the Falcons are not getting much credit by Vegas here. Give me the Falcons, though, and the points. I think they can win outright. In Seattle, the Seahawks are going to cruise. I think if this line stays below 2 touchdowns, you have to take it. I think realistically, they should be winning by like 20 points. Brett Rippon is not going to move the needle, but there's always a world where Jonathan Taylor just goes nuclear, and a big point spread like this is ideally not one that I want to trust, but I don't see it. I just don't see a quarterback moving the needle for the Colts. I'm going to take Seattle minus 12.5, a heavy favorite, but I'm willing to take them. I've bet them before as favorites, and they have let me down at times, but the Colts, I don't want to trust. So I'll take Seattle. Last week, Indy was completely inept, and another road game, I don't think they're going to cover this time around. So I'll take the Seahawks, but 12.5, a bit risky. And then on the flip side, I'm taking another 12.5 point spread, but this time, give me the underdog. I believe the Raiders can win straight up, but at the very least, if they do lose, I think it's only by a touchdown. At the very least, I see a backdoor cover here if I'm way off base. I ultimately just don't believe the Eagles deserve to be 12-point favorites against anyone. They're not winning by 2 touchdowns. I don't care who the opponent is. So I'll take the underdog all day. But I'm going to take one more heavy favorite. I think the Texans are by far a mile and a half better than the Cardinals. The Cardinals have no defense whatsoever. The Texans arguably have the best in the league. And there is no way in hell that without Harrison Jr., the Texans come close to losing this bet. So I think they can cover, even if the line is like 14, less than 10. I believe they will do that. They just beat the Chiefs by 10. They'll beat the Cardinals by probably 15. Give me Houston minus 9.5. And then I am ultimately taking the Packers to win. They are only favored by 2.5, but on the road for the line to be less than a field goal, I believe Vegas trusts the Packers to win pretty comfortably. So I'm going to take that. I know it's a little bit risky, but as long as it's under a field goal, if there's no hook here, I don't see it not working out. So a 2-point win is pretty rare these days. Maybe it blows up, but unless they miss an extra point, I doubt it'll blow up in my face. I believe the Packers will win, so I'll take them. I think it's a 3-point, 4-point win. I'll take Green Bay minus 2.5. So mostly I've noticed that all of my underdog picks are much more accurate than my favorites in the last few weeks. So I kind of wanted to overload on underdogs this week, but I just couldn't do it. I felt like the lines were very sharp on a lot of those big spreads. I'm hopeful I can at least go 4-2 for the second week in a row. So those are my picks: the Chargers as dogs, the Falcons as dogs, the Seahawks as favorites, the Texans as favorites, the Packers as favorites, and then the Raiders as heavy underdogs. But that's it for this video. If you enjoyed, hit that like button and subscribe to the channel for more content like this. I'll see you next time. My name's Adam Riancho, and bolt up, baby. Let me know in the comments if I was right or wrong on the Chargers winning tonight. By the time you see this, it's at least going to be halftime in that game. I'll see you next time. I'm Adam Riancho, and thanks for watching. Nice and blunt.